Hello everyone, this is Hellession and this video is long overdue. A month ago I have deleted Elemental Correstialism from the Starbound Chucklefish forums, and on Steam I have just made it private. I'll explain why this happened in the video and what's there to expect in the future. For those unaware, Elemental Correstialism is a big and major Starbound mod I was working on. The problem is, Elemental Correstialism is just another project for me, and I have lots of projects. While usually people of my age spend time outside with friends or play video games, both eventually get boring for me, and I get some cool idea and start another project. Now, unlike in the past, where I made small projects in the places that I could play around, the projects are much more serious, and Elemental Correstialism is no exception. Back in mid-2017 and late 2016, Elemental Correstialism was the only mod on my hands, and same goes for Starbound as my most played game at the time. However, there were constant things blocking or making it hard to keep working on the mod, and I'll tackle them one by one in chronological order. Let's go back to the start of 2017, the new year. I really hate using my mental state as a reason not to do something, but my own happiness predicts really well how effective I will be at work with something, especially with a free mod for Starbound. At the start of 2017, my mood dropped and I felt so bad that I did not want to continue my work on Elemental Correstialism. Another issue at the time is I was at the point of working with Lua. However, I did not know how Starbound Lua works. Most of my Lua work happened in Roblox, and Starbound's Lua was so much different. When I'm tasked to do something I'm completely confused about, I eventually get angry and quit. Maybe I come back to it again, because I want to finish it so bad, yet this will repeat until I solve a problem. Because of this, I never did any proper work until April, or something of that year, because that is when I figure out what to do with the Lua code to make it work. That is when I made the Gasinator, the only object as of now that's released and works in a similar way as Fracken Universe Extractor, with very few uses. Fast forward to what I'd call the golden age of Elemental Correstialism, summer of 2017. In mid-June, surviving the fact that my own bed was taken and I could barely get any sleep, I continued to work on the mod and also made it public again. This is when version 0.7 comes in, and another obstacle that was never solved up until this point. My art is just so bad. In version 0.7, I changed the randomly generated noise using gas materials to my own drawn, fluffy gas materials with certain patterns. The problem is, I don't think both look good at all. Look at the Heartbreaker set. It's just a ripoff and a recolor of a Nollikid armor set. It's just so lazy. Now, in my defense, I wanted to create a solid material that represents each gas in a metallic form, but I just don't know how I want it to look like. The only thing I want with it is for the materials to represent the atom color that is usually given to them on different diagrams. I do have a style that I wanted the Heartbreaker set to look like, but every time I tried to draw that, I came up with something so bad that I just quit. In August of 2017, another phenomenon happened, which is something I faced for the first time. Usually when I used to have small projects, I'd just leave them very quickly and not finish them, or finish them, but it'd take no longer than a month, and during the time I work on it, I already get happy with how it's turning out. So I am even more invested into finishing it. With Elemental Correstialism though, considering the problems before, and including small problems, such as the fact that I started working on the mod and recreated 111 elements, and now I don't even think I'd use half of them, or the fact that I wanted to make the mod scientific, even though at the time I never played with Fracken Universe before, so it just turned out to be redoing what Fracken Universe did, and the fact that a lot of content in the mod is probably the content I'm not allowed to use. For example, my random packages, which to some appear as a major good feature, is just a ripoff from Clash Royale. They even have the sounds from the actual game. My gas planets use the NASA, arguably, recorded sounds of gas planets in the solar system. Although NASA does seem more generous when it comes to using their content. When you craft in the Evil Station, the theme of the Curse of Naxxramas, or whatever it's called, that comes from Hearthstone, plays. You can't access it right now, but if you could access it with a bit of command magic, you would hear Portal 2's Potate OS music theme, and you would hear that in a Correstial guest object, and in there you have to access the final chapter, which is chapter 3. Finally, if I have completed the mod, I honestly really planned to use most of Variant's EP that I really love, which is called My Prayers Have Become Ghosts EP. I wanted to use the track from the EP for a mini-boss, an event that happens after the mini-boss, the final boss, the escape sequence, as well as part of the epilogue. However, if you look through all of this, shouldn't I just make music by myself? Anyways, back to the problems I had with making the mod. At the same time, when I burnt out, I also had a very similar moment as I did with learning Lua in Starbound. This time with behavior trees. The behavior trees were undoubtedly the most underexplained part of Starbound modding at the time. I looked at behavior trees and they were huge monsters with completely confusing values. Then I found I had to use some application with behavior trees, but even that didn't help, because I still didn't know what each node did. Eventually I did it the same way I approached JSON's Starbound values. I started wasting lots of time testing them out and uploaded the Starbound wiki with what I found. Then eventually I found some information to be enough, and I have done my first behavior trees for the cultists in the Dirtuna-like treasure mission, the mission of Elemental Correstialism, to actually come from its main storyline. But that only happened in September. In the meantime, I was going through that burnout. Also, I started getting into new games, like RimWorld and Rocket League, especially RimWorld, because it was going to become my most favorite game of all time. That pushed Starbound out of my most favorite games. I stopped surviving there, I stopped being creative there, just stopped playing in it. In fact, this can touch upon another big issue that I've had with Starbound modding. Since December of 2013, up until the very recent late September, I've done all of my work, every video, every minute of gaming, and every Starbound mod on this! And laptops are probably not the best thing to game on, or especially work on and test stuff on games. In fact, it was incredibly painful to mod on the laptop, considering the fact that if you want to change something, then you have to reopen Starbound, wait for it to actually load, then enter your world and test it. Add a bunch of lag, and it's just a lot of frustration. In 2017, a fellow modder named Cobra5 created an amazing tool for Atom. At first, I used Notepad++ for both checking the logs and modding Lua and JSON. However, Atom made it very easy to mod, but hard to see the logs. Cobra5's packages for Atom made it very easy because you could just press F9 and not only would Starbound restart, but it would actually give you a live log to work with. Now, it wasn't perfect. Sometimes Starbound really likes to crash for no reason, or it actually crashes from a bug, but Atom thinks, nah, that's not an error, get out of here, the problem worked well. And then closes the log, and you can't even see it. There was, however, one major issue, and that issue was that Atom was very fucking slow. Atom is probably the biggest snail of a program that ever existed. Oh, alongside with Starbound, because many people know Starbound isn't optimized that well, and while running Starbound on my new computer is completely fine, I get stable 60 FPS, my old laptop kept going around 20 FPS when there was heavy thunderstorm, and it probably never got stable 60 FPS at all, and that was excluding Atom. Add Atom to the mix, and the fact that my computer is already hitting the 8GB RAM limit, this is a perfect lag fest. When you launch Starbound for the first time ever since your computer has booted, you would expect it to load a tiny bit longer because it probably loads all the memory and does all that shit. This laptop, however, often got up to 10 minutes of wait time until it loaded for the first time. and I was supposed to create a mod. Alright, after summer of 2017, I never actually worked on the mod. 10th grade started after the summer of 2017, but the end of 2017 was actually a really horrible time in my life. And couple that with a bunch of blind people who ask you to end your life because of graphics on a free mod, I actually tried to discontinue the mod, but then just removed my statements and left the mod alone, rotting away. I've done a few small improvements after that, and the last two updates came out in April 2018 of this year. But in reality, it was just me doing my typical April Fools each year. I lazily added a Ceradoom star, and added a completely empty Ceradoom planet. I even failed to introduce the killing mechanism, which was the effect you got. The Ceradoom planets were being designed to be rewards for beating Elemental Correstialism lore. However, I wanted my killing effect for those who did not beat the game yet to be scaled with time. For that, I had to use the function to raise the power of a number to another number that grew over time. I remember using the typical math.pow function, so I tried it here, and when I did, it said that the function did not exist. This sounded so stupid and utterly wrong that in every way I looked, I did not find anything wrong. Eventually, I got incredibly angry and uploaded the mod with the bug. Talking about it in the modding channel of a Starbound Discord, I found out that math.pow was deprecated because you could use the arrow operator. Finally, you might notice that I might have underlined the fact that Elemental Correstialism is just a free mod. I have nothing to gain from creating it, but I turned 17 5 days ago as of writing the script, and I have to prepare for my future life and work on my source of income. Elemental Correstialism will not be one of them. I would work on Elemental Correstialism and will find time to work on it, but I just can't. Because of this, I don't want a stale and still mod sitting around considering it was so big, attracting attention. Instead, I want to take this mod, make it finished, beautiful, and finally release it to the public without the issues, without the bugs, without the annoyances, to be a creation that I'm actually proud of. A bit after April, I get a person telling me that a popular Starbound YouTuber started playing my mod on their YouTube channel. This is amazing, but scary to me at the same time. You see, I'd say I am more proud of my Recipe Master mod than of Elemental Correstialism, because it's so unfinished and problematic and ugly. Hearing this made me feel I just had a lot of criticism sent my way. Because of this weird fear of unknown criticism, I was never ready to watch the entire series. Until recently. By the way, the YouTuber in question is a randomized user, and I had a lot of fun watching this series. I honestly want to thank him for creating this because it's amazing. It gives me a good perspective on how the mod looks like to an average user, and I see new flaws with the mod that I want to improve upon. But again, I just don't want to put a lot of priority on the mod, as cool as it'd be to work on it. I'm currently working on either my new upcoming mobile game to make myself my first money, or trying out different ways that I could possibly excel at and also find a bit of stability to work on the stuff I actually love or want. Elemental Correstialism could be one of them, I guess. Different people might find Elemental Correstialism and want to give it a shot to resurrect it. But I honestly don't want my mod to be worked upon without my knowledge by someone else, because that would result in it becoming something I never wanted it to become, and would never actually deliver the emotion I wanted to put into this project. Therefore, I hid it away. Let's talk about the lore of the mod. Elemental Correstialism's lore is about Correstials and Ariel. Well, except my name is Ariel. Spoiler alert, this story is about me. Which is weird because making a story about yourself and making people know that they're just facing the problems of a mod creator is... well, I can't say it's the best motivator to do that. Like seriously, Esther promises the player that they get big rewards. There's just no emotional connection. You honestly don't care. This is just bad motivation. And the moments leading up to the final boss would just be filler. The crystals would just be throwing tasks at you, so the lore has to be redone a bit. Not the final mission though, it will be as disturbing as planned. So yeah, this is basically it. Thank you for sticking around. Big thank you for supporting my mod since it's been quite an adventure. I will aim to finish it at some point, however I cannot guarantee it happening. By the way, this does not mean I will hide my Starbound modding detailed electronic book, because it's actually something that's really useful and doesn't have a huge issues within it. I will try my best to update it, but this is the same story as with Elemental Correstialism. Thank you for watching, have a nice day. It took me 40 minutes to just record this shit. This is embarrassing.